Hey, I'm Steven.
I'm Derek.
And this is... That's Derek. And this is RC Lawn Chair Pilots Podcast.
Welcome back.
Okay.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are on episode 12. This is so exciting.
Super awesome.
The awesomeness just keeps on keeping on.
Yes, it does. Like we got some really cool news.
Yeah.
The day of this recording.
Yeah. So for all of you that went and checked out our sponsor, rcbattery.com, thank you. For those of you that took advantage of that 15% off through the month of October, turned it so I can see. Thank you again. And Richard over at rcbattery.com was pleased with what we've done for him so far. So guess what? We have another discount code for you. Right here. RC Lawn #2020. It is good through November 17th, so the day this releases.
Yep.
Or excuse me, starting that day. And then ends on December 31st, 2020.
Actually, if you happen to hear about it before now, it was good before now.
It was? I thought it only started on today.
I believe he said starting the 3rd of November. So...
No, because he wanted to get our episode on the 3rd.
Yeah, he wanted to get it for that, but I think it's still technically active. So if you can read our minds and you reach out to us...
If somehow you get it before then.
But it is active right now, goes to the end of December. It's the same deal as it was before. So the discount is after or before shipping costs, and it's on your whole order.
Oh, yeah. The code is active now. So as of the day of this recording, which is the 5th.
Yeah. Like I said, if you could read our minds.
There you go.
Then, you know.
Sending this out to our listeners.
You are welcome.
RC Lawn #2020.
Yeah. But it's just for our listeners, so we won't necessarily be putting this on all of the social medias, but watch for it on the time of releasing.
Yep.
And whatnot. But again, we want to thank you to...
Thanks again to rcbatteries.com. You guys are the bomb.
Yeah, thank you very, very much. So...
shall we get into the rest of the episode?
Yeah, let's dive into the rest of the episode. So,
what do you have for news?
I have been gathering supplies because I don't have a lot of tools of the trade that you need for RC. I have a lot of like little tools, but they're like electronic tools.
Okay.
And a lot of those transfer over, but not all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I've got a nice ruler set. In fact, I'll talk about that in a second. But I got a bunch of supplies.
Yay!
For going forward in this building season.
Awesome.
Along with that, I've been working on that RC truck that we showed you last time. I called it a car. It's really more like a truck. I'm super excited. I was working on it today. Anyway, I'll talk about that a little bit later. Because that's the news I've gotten, and I'll go into greater detail in the next sections. But moving on to products, I'm just going to jump into the products I've got.
Yeah,
because I got a whole bunch of supplies, and so
He's pretending he's a draftsman.
I really am. So I've got the is that Staedtler? Staedtler Mars Professional Combination Set. It's a ruler set, so it comes with a 12-inch ruler, has meters and inches on it.
Millimeters?
Yes.
Metric units.
Metric units. And
for the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's got the metric and the standard, which...
Imperial.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you. I knew standard was only used in the U.S. Imperial.
Yeah, it's the U.S. and a couple other really strange countries like us.
Yeah. Even England has bounced back and forth between inches and meters. They're weird, like us.
No, we're more weird because
anyway, it has
we won't conform. No. We won't conform.
It has the ruler, a straight edge ruler, has a protractor in there, has a 30-degree and a 60-degree triangle.
No.
So
It has a right triangle.
No. I specifically looked on the package, and it says 30 degree and a 60 degree.
Okay, so
It does not have a 90 degree, which would be a right triangle.
Okay, hang on.
I'm just saying. I didn't bring them, but that's what they.
I know, these are mine.
That's what they were called.
Yes. Okay. So do you have one that looks like this?
I can't remember because I haven't used the triangles yet.
Okay. So this is a 30, 60, 90.
Which they can't see because it's clear.
Yes. It's really hard to see. 30, 60, 90 triangle. That doesn't help.
Nope.
This is a 45, 45, 90. Chances are you have one of each of these.
It's a good possibility, but what they called it was a 30 degree and a 60 degree triangle. That's what it said on the package.
Probably referred to the ages because if you have a 30 degree, chances are you're going to have a 45 and a 90 on the same triangle.
Yeah, because math.
Or 60 and a 90.
Yeah, so. Because math.
All right, cool.
Yeah, but anyway,
still, you've got the drawing tools.
So I've got some drawing tools, so I can start sketching some stuff out.
Drawing and alignment tools.
Yes.
That's what those are.
I got some pencils and some other stuff because I needed some more nicer ones.
Did you get a cool lead holder like this?
Maybe I have a tool that I have.
Is a long stick.
I have a tool that I don't understand what it is, and I'm guessing it's that.
These are the coolest pencils ever.
I will show you this. I should have brought it with me.
You really should have.
I didn't. But I should have.
Disappointed.
Well, I was thinking about it, and I thought, I don't need it.
You always need it.
I also got it's a 6-inch digital caliper with a metal cover. It's pretty nice. So I've been using that to measure some things, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But the thing on it was MMG. I don't know if that's like the manufacturer. It's a Chinese special.
Yeah, it could mean anything.
Yeah. And then, so last time we talked about the servo that I stole from Derek.
Yep. Yeah, he did end up taking that JR servo for the evening.
Then I used it to research because Derek did tell me that they were no longer in production.
I'm 90% sure on that.
I didn't find any, but I found equivalent.
Oh yeah, no, there's
lots of equivalent.
It's a standard size servo.
So I got myself some more servos. I got 4 of them. They were actually relatively inexpensive for the 4. It was like $24, so $6 a piece.
Wow.
Yeah.
More Chinese servos?
Yes, but they're MG996R 55-gram Metal Gear servos.
Nice.
Very nice. So far.
Order them from Amazon as well?
Yes, all of those I got from Amazon. And while I was on there, because remember, there's a lot of places to put lights on this thing.
Oh, yeah.
I felt I didn't have enough LEDs. So I bought 2 packs of 100? No, 2 packs of 50.
So are they just regular LEDs with the bulb and the 2 wires?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're nothing fancy.
Not the RGB?
No. I was looking at those, but for what I need, it's just going to be 1 LED per light. And actually, I was looking at it, and I'm going, anyway, I'll go into more of that in a little bit. But I got my whole bunch of LEDs that I'm going to light this sucker up. It's going to be like Christmas. It's going to be awesome.
Nice. Okay, so I realized I didn't put it on the thing if you're done.
I'm trying to think if I had any. That's pretty much of the new products that I've got now. Is I supplied up with some stuff that I felt like I needed. The biggest one was like a straight edge metal ruler.
Oh yeah.
That was the biggest thing that I really, really wanted, and it needed to be metric and Imperial. Thank you. And
you were close with the Royal.
Yeah, and I wanted a caliper.
Yeah.
I didn't need the digital one. Digital one's nice.
They're easier to read, and you can switch between metric and imperial.
Exactly, and so that's why I got that one.
Dial ones are fun, but they take a lot longer to read.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
There you go.
So what do you got on there? What do you got for your new products?
I'm working on flight test planes.
Mm-hmm.
I only have 4 9-gram servos. So I decided I need more 9-gram servos. So I bought 10 for $18 off Amazon.
Nice.
These are just your standard.
I was looking at those very servos.
Cheap blue. The model number is the SG90. Like if you search SG90 servos, you'll find these with 1,000 different labels on them. Because I think 3 companies in China make them, and then about 1,000 companies in China sell them.
Yeah, they're all over. Like if you just type in servo,
Oh, yeah.
in Amazon,
This is what
this is the one that will come up.
So I got 10 of these. Now, the reason I wanted to get so many is so I could build my flight test planes and have extras. But also...
Are we going to talk about that later or now?
Well, we can talk about it now because I haven't actually done anything with it. So
Okay, that's fine.
Right. If you remember the RC servo cars that we talked about a few episodes ago that Flight Test did?
Yeah.
These are the servos you use. And I dug around in my old electronics kit and I found all my spare resistors.
Oh, you should have just told me I have 10,000
Oh,
resistors.
I know. But I wanted to see if I could find mine.
And I am not exaggerating when I say I have 10,000.
Oh, I believe you.
Because remember, electronics.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, but with this, we now have the fixins to start making foam board RC servo cars. I just need to get, we just need to make the little...
And people can't see
pieces.
this, but I'm looking at the cutter that we showed last time.
Yeah, my CNC machine
and he has expanded his foam board collection.
Yeah, before I started cutting out the P40, I went to Dollar Tree and I bought 10 sheets of foam board.
Yes, and he has a lot of foam board. Now that his new the plane he's cutting out will probably take out a good portion of it, but
right now it's going to take me 4 sheets.
Okay,
it's supposed to only take 3.
You may have a little bit left over.
I messed up one of the sheets.
Yeah, so
I'll talk about that.
But
yeah, RC servo cars are coming over these holidays because I want to make those.
I want to totally make one too.
Oh yeah. Well, it takes only 2 servos.
Yeah.
And a receiver and a small battery.
Yeah.
And a tiny section of foam board.
Yeah.
And
a couple hours to put it together.
Yeah. Oh, and I also have the piano, the music wire we would need for the control stuffs.
You have those. Oh, look at that.
I needed new.
Oh,
I need.
Poked me in the eyeball almost.
I needed more wire for my CNC machine, so I went to the store and I bought 5 lengths of 30 inches.
That should be plenty to make 3 of those cars.
Oh, that's enough to make 1,000 cars.
Yeah. Well, but we only need to make 3, right?
Yeah. So that will be happening over this holiday break, I hope. We'll see.
I hope we get some time to do it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be busy.
It's going to be a very busy break.
As with that, what have you done? I see a very sad face.
I haven't been out flying or anything.
Yeah.
Mostly because I don't have anything to fly right now. Everything is in construction phases. Well, excuse me.
You have
the Spirit could fly.
Yes, you can take the Spirit out.
I just haven't.
Yeah. And we've actually, it's warmed up. You could get on a Saturday. You couldn't do it on a weekday because by the time you get home at 4 o'clock, the sun is down.
Yeah.
Because of
the sun's going down before I leave the office.
Yeah. I get off my job at 4, I go upstairs and I look outside and I wonder what happened to the day because the sun is gone.
Yep.
It is terrible. Anyway, but I'm with you.
Yeah.
I have not had any outings.
Yeah, I've spent most of my time has been spent editing that last episode you guys watched. Hopefully you enjoyed.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
The tabletop and my crazy camera switcheroo. That was a fun adventure to figure out how to do.
I liked it.
Well, I figured you would.
But with that, and we did have some really cold weather, which made it even less wanting to go outside. It's warmed back up.
And it's going to get right back cold this
weekend. But it's going to get cold again. So I imagine our outings, I mean, it is build season, so our outings are going to be less. Now, this truck that I'm building...
Hopefully should run in some snow.
It should run in the snow. I will put a case over the electronics to ensure that, and the battery to ensure that the moisture doesn't get in there and disrupt things. That will go out in the snow. I am going to take that thing out everywhere.
Nice.
So it is, it's going to be awesome.
There
but
you go.
So far, nothing. So, sad news on the outings.
One kind of outing. I opened, I didn't really, but I opened up the B-17 Gillows kit that I got.
Yes.
Everything is in great condition.
Awesome.
One of the plastic formed parts is broken, but I can still order them off of the Gillows website.
Okay.
So I'll order another one of those. It's only like $3.
Nice.
But then I took all of the plans and paperwork and documentation to my work, where we have a large format plotter, printer, scanner.
And you
and I scanned them all
digitally.
in. So I now have digital copies of everything, which
Awesome.
is great. because they're original. And yes, you can still buy the plans, but I wanted my own PDF copies.
And this way, when those plans get destroyed, you still have them.
Yes. Not that I ever plan on using those plans. Like, when I actually build the plane, I'm going to print out my own copies.
Yeah.
I won't use those.
Yeah, I mean, that's best practices, but not everybody has a large scanner that they can do that
No,
with.
I'm super lucky. I'm so pleased.
You very are lucky. So,
See,
well, cool.
That's the closest to an outing.
That's not really an alley.
No.
Not
No,
really.
it's really not. I'm looking around at all my plans and just like, so much to do.
Yeah. You
So
got a
much
lot.
time.
You got a lot of build this season that you need to do, and we didn't mention this, or we've mentioned it, but just in passing, he's got a new baby on its way, and that means this build season is not going to happen.
Nope. I will have hiccups. I will have
Little to no time.
little to no time.
Yeah.
Because this is baby number 3.
Yeah. So, but
I'll get in what I can.
coming this spring, when the baby can start crawling and getting out there, and the kids will be a little older, and you can take the older boys with you to fly.
There you go. Yep.
See?
We'll get out and fly. Oh, that's right. I do have the gray airplane that flies.
Yes.
That's a tricky bugger to fly.
Is
It is all sorts of squirrely.
it? You flew it so well. You even took a plane to the eyeball and still flew that thing.
Oh yeah, but like the littlest bit of wind and my word.
Yeah, like you said, that one is an indoor plane.
No, it's a dead calm day plane. Maybe a 1 mile an hour gust. It's a tricksy bugger.
Yeah.
All right, project updates.
Project updates.
How's the truck coming along?
It is coming right along. I'm actually sketching out.
Oh, this stopped recording over here. Hang on.
Oh, when did it stop?
At 5 minutes. Yep.
So you're going to be using that audio today.
I am going to apologize now for that terrible switch in audio. Apparently, my recording software decided to say, nope.
So you got the other audio.
It's a good thing we have two copies of the audio. 'Cause
Yeah.
I looked over, I'm like, we have not been recording for only 5 minutes. There's no way.
That is
So I
odd.
apologize for that, but that's why we have redundant systems.
Yes, exactly. So back to my project.
Okay,
project.
yeah, back to the truck.
Project. So
Let's hear it.
yeah, I've been sketching out. I've been taking some measurements, and I'm going to 3D print the component that I need to hook my servo up to my steering.
All right.
So that's what I've been working on, and I've been looking at, because the LEDs. So I've been looking at all of where the lights are at. So I'm going to cut all of the lights out, and I'm going to put clear plastic for the front,
Okay.
and then red plastic for the back with an LED
On the inside.
on the inside.
All right.
And this thing is, I was looking at it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this thing is not even going to resemble what it was when I started. But it is going to be awesome. So any of the parts, what I'm looking at right now is I was learning a program called FreeCAD for building 3D printing, building and 3D printing my parts that I'm going to be needing for these 3 vehicles, the car, the truck, and the crazy monster truck thing that I have.
right.
And so as I start gutting them and I start retrofitting them with new components and everything, I'm going to need something to place everything in. And that's where I was like, oh, you know what? I'm looking at getting a 3D printer, and I'm going to 3D print the parts.
There you go.
So super, super excited about that.
Learning CAD just makes sense with that.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. So I'm going to be learning a new thing and having some fun with it, and it's right down the alley of this RC world. I've known a lot of the things I've read and watched with like drones and racing quadcopters, FPV drones, stuff like that. Is a lot of people will 3D print the extra parts that they need. The
motor guards,
the
the
motor
camera
guards,
mounts.
the camera mounts and different things like that.
Antenna
You can go buy
mounts.
those, a lot of the schematics are already available, so you don't have to build it. So
Well,
you can
get on Thingiverse and download
yes,
parts for all the stuffs.
exactly. And so people, because 3D printing is actually now affordable, and you can get high quality stuff with it. It's not that cheap stuff that they used to be, where you spent $1,200 on this thing and then you got a cheap toy that would break.
Yeah.
Now you can spend $300 or $400 and you can get a product that you could potentially release to the public.
Oh yeah.
And while I was digging in, I saw a 3D metal printer.
Yeah, those are a thing.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
Yeah.
No, I can't afford one.
No. They are big and expensive.
Yeah, but
And
so
require a lot of extra equipment.
yeah, so in looking at this truck, I'm super excited. I might even do get extra wheels and do some crazy trick out stuff with the wheels and stuff. I haven't decided, but right now, LEDs on it and get the steering connected. Once I get the steering connected, then
Sorry, keep going.
I will be able to get it out and start driving it, and then I'll be modifying the lights and get them
Nice.
all ready and everything. So
what I was pointing at, that black duffel bag on the bottom shelf to behind you.
oh, down there, yeah.
That is full of wheels
Oh,
for the truck that's above it.
oh, those would fit on mine.
Potentially.
Cool.
So there you go. We have
Cool.
wheels.
Yeah, that's neat. So anyway, I'm actually documenting what I'm doing. Unlike me, I have been I've got a picture that I've done, so I'll try to remember to either load up the camera or take some snapshots to show the progress of what I've been doing.
At least put something on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah.
Especially with how many people that keep following us on Twitter.
What I should do is just get it and send it to you so you can post it.
Or you could post it yourself.
I know, I just don't. I will. That will be my new thing since we're going to the holidays are coming up. I will make sure as I'm doing these projects that I will post
Yes.
stuff.
Because everyone hears from me all the time.
Yeah.
They need to hear from you.
They do. Here, this is where you hear from me. So how are your projects? What's your project you got on here?
So I have been fighting with my my foam board CNC.
Okay.
As I've been cutting out the Flight Test P40.
Uh-huh.
I cut out one sheet. Partway through it, so I had these little 3D printed needle holders. They were little teardrop things that slipped over the bearing and held the needle in place.
Yeah.
They worked well enough, but I don't know if it was how they were printed or what they were printed with or something. But after half a sheet of cutting, the needle would melt through the plastic and go flying.
Oh, that potentially is a bad thing.
Yeah, so I burned through 3 of those really quick.
Mm.
And then I had no way of holding the needle because I'm like, okay, this clearly isn't working.
Yeah.
So I put on the Facebook group for the ERC Time Saver CNC machine and said, okay, how is everybody else dealing with this? Got a whole bunch of awesome feedback. And then I went out and so I have some wire that's the right size on my pegboard here.
Okay.
But it's galvanized steel. It's very soft and pliable.
Uh-huh.
And I tried using that. It worked really well for 10 minutes.
Okay.
But then the needle got stuck in something and just crumpled.
Yeah, because it's too soft.
So that's when I went over to my local hobby store. Thank you, West Valley Hobbies. And I bought 5 sticks of that.
The piano wire?
The piano
gauge?
wire.
Yeah.
It's 0.6 millimeters. And what I did... There's no way you're going to be able to see this.
No, I can't see that.
But you can see this.
Yeah.
I borrowed my mom's jewelry-making round-nosed needle nose pliers and wound myself a little eye at the end of the wire to go over the bearing on my thing.
Okay.
And then I just cut it to length. And then I can start making another one.
Oh.
And not
How long has this been lasting? Have you used one yet?
Yeah, I have. I used it to finish cutting out sheet number 2.
Looks like you got one ready to go again.
Yep,
but...
I do. And I borrowed, so I don't want to keep borrowing my mom's jewelry pliers.
So you're going to be buying one.
I already did. They'll be in tomorrow.
So you've been buying supplies too.
Yep, I have.
And tools.
So those are coming in.
Nice.
I won't bother putting that back up there. I'll put it right there.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's a good place for it.
But in the so I did that. I got a new needle in there. It works great. Only problem I had was when I put the soft metal wire on there for a needle. It was a lot shorter, so I had to move the whole cutting head down a little bit so it would cut to the right depth.
Ah.
And I forgot to move it back up when I put on a real wire or my hard wire.
So were you cutting?
I cut all my score cuts were full cuts. So an entire sheet is useless. So I have to recut sheet 2.
It's good thing that foam board is cheap.
Yes, it is. Now the only issue is, so the way it's set up, if you remember looking, and I'll post a picture. There's a there's an airplane motor with a hub attached to it, and on one side of that hub is where the bearing for the needle is mounted, and as the motor oscillates, it drives the needle up and down.
Yeah.
Now there's a screw that feeds into that 3D printed hub.
Okay.
That holds it in place. Problem I'm having now is I must have pulled the screw in and out too much.
Is it loose now?
It halfway after like 3 minutes of cutting, it starts backing itself out. So when I have to watch it very carefully, and when it goes for a long travel where it's not cutting, I turn it off and I tighten it back down, and then I go again. So I either need to reprint that one piece, or I need to see if Loctite will hold it.
I was going to say, get some blue Loctite.
There's some that came with the kit. I haven't used it, but I need to try that.
Yeah, because I think no matter what, it's going to wiggle it out just because of the motion, right? It's wiggling, it's moving. It
used to be super tight.
Yeah, but over time, it's just going to get loose.
It's a plastic part and a metal screw.
Yeah.
And running at several thousand RPMs. It's
exactly
going to happen, yeah.
Yeah. So you could 3D print that one piece.
That'd be super easy to do. I may actually have an extra one.
Then, but also use Loctite.
Yeah.
And that will definitely improve it. Even with it being loose now, the Loctite will keep it in there longer.
Yeah. It'll just help hold it in place.
Exactly. So that you'll get smoother cuts, or you'll be able to cut longer before you have to worry about it working its way out. It still will work its way out eventually.
It's just the nature of it.
Yeah.
But hopefully now I've got plenty of plenty of wire to last me all the needles.
Oh, yeah. That one will last you
this one's going to
ages.
last me forever.
Yeah.
I probably won't ever get through that one. I hope not, at least.
Like, you're cutting a lot of foam board.
Yeah. Well, that's the idea.
Yeah. I mean,
because then I can fly all the planes.
Fly all the planes and race all the little servo cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super.
So
super
that
awesome.
has been my project updates. Chaos Wing still needs its flying control surfaces mounted and the fins finished. I should do that.
Yeah.
Spirit still needs its spoiler servo installed and those set up. And the EF-16 I still need to find a better way to cut out the carbon fiber parts.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's what's stopping you on that one?
Yep.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at.
Oh, and the slow sticks?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't worked on them yet, but I was like, when I get the 3D printer that I'm going to get, I will be able to print parts for those also.
Ooh, speaking of 3D printers, what 3D printer are you looking at? Because there's 1,000 out there. Everyone and their dog makes one.
The one I was looking at was an Ender style 3D printer.
Ender style or an actual Ender?
I thought it was an actual Ender.
Is this the one you sent me?
Yeah, but it's labeled that it's not, but it looks like it is. So
yeah, that listing looks super sketch.
I'm not quite sure.
I would recommend the Ender.
But, so the Ender, I don't know a lot about 3D printers. I just don't know a lot about 3D printers.
My brother has the Ender 3,
Okay.
There are 3 versions of the Ender 3. The Ender 3, Ender 3 Pro, and the Ender 3 V2.
Okay.
I forget what's so special about the Pro. The 3 V2
Yeah.
has a new new control display,
Okay.
and a new quote-unquote silent motherboard and control board. So it's supposed to run a lot quieter than the previous version.
Okay.
Which is
Yeah,
super
because
great.
they can be noisy.
Yeah, they can.
And-
It's a bunch of stepper motors. Those are loud alone.
Yeah, and they have to run for many hours at a time.
Yeah. But the Ender 3 Pro or Ender 3 V2, if you order it from the Creality website, is $250.
That's not too bad.
Like, that is an amazing deal, and it's got a print bed of 250 by 250 by 280.
Okay, that's not too bad.
That's all in millimeters, by the way.
Yeah, that's roughly 8 inches by 8 inches by almost 9.5,
yeah.
9 3/4, close
So
to 10.
plenty big for printing out any RC knickknacks.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that is like, I've been considering a 3D printer for a while now, and that's the one I'm looking at.
Yeah.
I would recommend any of the Creality printers.
Okay.
They are
I will
seem
have
like
to
an awesome company.
look through those and see.
But I would definitely order directly from their website
Okay.
or one of their authorized resellers.
That's good too.
Because the one that you were looking at was like what, $400,
Yeah, $400.
and it looked just like the Ender 3.
Yeah. But the title was something
it wasn't.
Pierce something or another.
Yeah, it was something weird, and then everything in the description said Ender 3.
Yeah.
It was a super sketchy listing.
So. But that's I'm 3D printing for my RC projects. I think is going to save me several trips to the hobby stores. I still have to be going to the hobby stores, and I'll still be buying other things. But this way, like custom stuff, my custom builds that I'll be doing, I will be able to get the part that I need because I'll just build it.
Learning the CAD's going to be the hard part.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I took a quick look at that free CAD program you mentioned.
Yeah.
Looks pretty cool. I am going to have to get it for myself.
There is
I am a collector of CAD programs.
There is a guy out there on YouTube, Dr. Something. I'm going to plug him real quick because I am watching his YouTube stuff for my free CAD, and he has been doing a great job. So let me find him. Pause.
If you've watched it recently, go to your history.
I forget how to get there.
Library. History. Scroll.
There he is. Dr. Vax. Unpause. So, that didn't take as long as I thought, but it was even shorter for you guys.
Yeah, unless I just slow down the footage.
That's just mean to our listeners and to our viewers. So, the podcast is called Dr. Vax, DRVAX, and he
all one word.
Yes, and he is specifically teaching, at least on the ones I've found so far, teaching you free CAD to build 3D parts.
3D parts or
Sorry.
3D printed parts?
3D printed parts.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. To build little knickknacks, like the first project that he has you build is just a 3x5 card holder, because that's what he wanted to build, because he likes to use 3x5 cards still. He's
Okay.
old school, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's something nice about pen and paper.
There really is. I do like writing and sketching things down. And that was the very first thing. And so I have a 3D
Model.
ready, 3D model for a card holder.
Nice.
I don't know if I'll ever print it, but I was learning how to cut holes and do different things with this.
Create sketches and
Yes.
extrude stuff.
Yeah.
And cut
So-
stuff and
Check him out. He has no idea who we are. I've just been watching him. I've been watching him, and I thought I'd just give him a shout out. If you're looking for free CAD, and this is again now, like you guys are probably like, what does this have to do with RC? So here's the thing: is like sometimes you can't find the part that you want when you start doing your own custom builds.
you have to make parts.
You might have to make them. Now, if you go to, what is it, what is the site that has like hundreds of parts already built.
There's Thingiverse.
Yeah, Thingiverse.
Those are parts that people have designed in 3D, like they're specifically built to be 3D printed.
Yeah. You can go to Thingiverse and find pretty much everything.
That's where I got all the parts for the CNC machine that I have. That's where I got all those little battery cap things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's where I've got several
But-
tools and other stuff. Like people put all sorts of stuff up there.
But you might not find everything. And I'm not
That's when you
saying you
make
have
your
to
own.
learn to be a CAD professional, but if
That's
you
what
can
I'm for.
Yeah, if you can tinker in it and get a couple extra things that you're looking to do for your drone or your copter or your
Car
car or your boat or
that's
your
right, boats.
submarine,
You could 3D print a boat.
you can.
My brother has.
Yeah, easily. So that's why we're mentioning it, because this is everything RC. And as much as you may or may not agree, 3D printing definitely right up the hobby RC alley. So
Well, and there's companies out there where you can go and buy the part files for 3D printable airplanes.
yes. So
And they fly
yeah, I mean,
beautifully.
I'm diving into this world of RC, and I'm diving into the 3D world, but my 3D printing world will be mostly related to RC stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm doing right now.
Well, and 3D printing alone can be its own hobby,
Oh, it really can.
which is just crazy.
One of our good friends, neighbors, he has 3 3D printers, and he says they're pretty much running 24/7. He is printing.
He's the one that's printed out all my stuff.
Yeah, he is printing something for somebody 24/7.
Yep.
And it is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have room in my house for 3 3D printers.
I might have room for one once I redesign this room.
Yeah, I have room for one. I've already figured out how I'm going to redesign my room.
I know how I'm going to redesign mine. I just need to do it.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. I do have something beginner that I was thinking about. And you
Alright.
mentioned it earlier. You kind of talked about this. We both did. It's remembering about having the right tool for the right job.
How did I mention this earlier?
Well, you talked about not specifically having the right tool, but that you needed more tools. And the
Oh,
wire,
gotcha.
you know,
The
needing
needle
the
nose plier.
needle nose plier for twisting the wire.
Yeah.
Like
Trying to make this round of a thing
yeah,
without round nose pliers
exactly.
is an absolute nightmare.
Precisely, and that's why I was like, "Oh, that fits exactly with my beginner tip."
Yeah.
Um,
I'm just going to throw stuff on the floor. I'm sorry.
spending some time to get the tools that you need. Like this is what build season is for, right? For those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, it is definitely build season.
If it is actually cold where you are right now, because it's winter instead of backwards like in the Southern Hemisphere where it's winter and warm. I'm sorry,
mean summer
Australia,
and
it's
warm.
backwards.
Summer and warm.
No, it's
Not-
still winter. Still
not there.
They call it winter.
Anyway,
If your Christmas is warm, or Hanukkah, or whatever you celebrate in December, if it's warm, it's not build season.
but for the rest of us,
For the rest of us, it's cold.
yeah, and taking the time to get some nice tools is worth it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's my beginner tip: is spending the money to get the tools as you need them. Now, don't go out and go spend $500 on tools.
No,
'cause
go to Harbor Freight.
Yeah, you probably won't need half of those tools, and just buy them one or two at a time.
And as you need them, yeah.
Yeah, and as you need them. And in the hobby, like going to, like he said, the Harbor Freight and buying a Harbor Freight $4 tool versus the everywhere else $12 tool of the same style.
Yeah.
You don't need that $12 tool. The $4 tool is going to last long enough. Like we buy a $4 tool because we know it's going to break.
Well, and it's with how
But
we
with
use
hobby
it's going to last
stuff-
long enough.
Yeah, it's going to last long enough for make that $4 go a long way. So
Well, and sometimes at Harbor Freight you get lucky and it lasts forever and never breaks, and you're just like, this is the greatest thing ever.
exactly,
And then you buy another one and it breaks immediately
exactly.
because Harbor Freight.
Yes, but the point is getting the tools that you need. Do that,
Yeah.
but don't buy them all at once. you can get them one at a time. Take it like seriously, like I got the caliper and I got the rulers all at the same time because
Combo
what I
deal.
needed was both of them.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I bought both of them. But between the LEDs, the rulers, the caliper, and the pencils, it was like $95.
Shoot. Well, Staedtler's a good brand.
And so it wasn't that expensive. I got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
sorry.
true.
And the servos.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Including the servos.
That'll do it.
Yeah. So it was really cheap. The servos were probably the most expensive part the servos were the most expensive part. And then the caliper was like $18. So between the two of them, that was almost half of the total cost.
Yeah.
But you don't have to spend $100. But just remember, that's my beginner tip.
Well, and honestly, when you're building or fixing or whatevering a model, all you really need is a good quality hobby knife.
Yep.
Even if it's a cheap hobby knife. Like I use the snap blade hobby knives.
Yeah, those are really good.
It works great.
And they're like $1.
Yeah, and you buy a 10-pack of replaceable blades and you're good for the next 12 years.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And then you just need your glue and like I like metal rulers. They last well. They've got good clear markings.
That's why I went with metal, because I liked your metal ruler.
I think I have 3 different ones. I have a 12. Well, no, I have 4. I have a 40-inch, 12-inch, a 6-inch, and then a 6-inch 3-sided.
Yeah, I like the 6-inch short one that you have.
I don't know where that one went.
You were using it last time, 2 times that we recorded.
It's here somewhere.
But yeah,
I need to clean my desk.
So yeah, that's it. It's just take the time, get some tools. You don't have to get super expensive tools, depending on what you're doing. But
well,
like
and you
said,
can usually find some screaming deals on used ones.
Yeah, and like you said, there's really only 3 major things that you need. You need some glue, you need some
measuring device,
and some cutting device, and a needle nose plier. But I mean, I could go on and add and add and add and add. There's always more and more and more and more. Like we always want more.
Oh
but
yeah, my wall is
like
the list of more.
Like I still haven't gotten the new soldering station because my soldering station is good enough.
Yeah, I dealt with the good enough one long enough. I wanted a new one.
Yeah, I want a new one too, but this good enough one is working good enough.
There you go.
So that's it. That's all I have on the beginner tips and like some of the discussion on that. Do you have any other thoughts?
I did want to start a little beginner discussion.
Okay.
Real quick. So, first plane.
Yes.
So we've both been through the beginner stage. You're still
in the beginner
stage. Thoughts on, like, if one of our listeners
what would
happens
be
to
a
be
good first
looking at their first plane, what sort of things would you incur? Like, not what is a good first plane, because there's 1,000 options out there depending on what you're doing and stuff like that.
And
so
what you have.
We won't get into that, but traits and features to look for in a first plane.
So a couple things that I would look for in the first plane. Now having 3 planes,
because I'm sure both of us are going to be semi-different on this.
Potentially. My thought on having a first plane is easeability and ready to fly.
Ready to fly is huge, yeah.
Yes.
Because then you get everything that you need in one go rather than having to purchase receiver, transmitter, and airplane.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
ready to fly is always a great first option.
The closer to a ready to fly type situation would be something I would look at, but I'd also look at what that compares to the cost of a fully ready to fly, which is motor, batteries, or whatever, controller, everything, versus a almost ready to fly where you need to drop in just maybe the receiver and you have a
almost ready to fly is typically you need to drop in the electronics.
Yeah.
Plug and plays is where you just need to drop in a receiver.
So there you go. Like that's where those 3 options that's what I would hover towards is ready to fly, almost ready to fly, or plug and play. And that way you're more likely to get out and start flying faster.
Yeah, depending on how much time and effort and stuff you have, and how well. For me, looking at like ready to fly versus R for plug and play, really is determined by how potentially invested you feel you're going to be in the hobby. Like if you feel you're like, okay, I just need my first plane and then I want to really dive into this, go with like a plug and play or an almost ready to fly.
Yes.
If you're just like, oh, I'm not sure, maybe I want to get a first plane, try this out, see how it goes, or ready to fly all the way.
Yeah.
Because then you have everything you need to go. And then if you're like, yes, this was awesome, then start getting all the individual components so you can start building kits and ARFs and all that stuff.
Yeah. And I agree with that. I do agree with that. And that's where kind of like how gung-ho are you? Like, are you sold? If you're sold, plug and play or almost ready to fly, that's really where I would start.
Yeah. Well, and your Radian was plug and play, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it had all the electronics. He just dropped in his battery and receiver.
Yep.
Ready to go.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I've flown it 3 times. Well, I mean, I've been out.
You've gone out 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched those videos.
Yeah. Pretty entertaining.
Some of them are good. Some of them are rough.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all we can say.
Yeah.
It was a rough landing.
Oh,
I
man.
cartwheeled it. I already talked about this.
Yeah, it's true. You did.
But I cartwheeled it, and
so that's level of completedness for a first airplane.
and that's what I would focus on
on
my first airplane.
So, but what style of plane would you like? You've only had gliders.
I have only had gliders, and I think,
But still,
I
like,
do have a
what are-
powered glider.
It still
It's-
flies like a glider.
It does fly like a glider, but when you kick that motor on,
Well, yeah, it's designed to get you in the air fast.
yeah, and it does. It rips that thing into the air. It is crazy to watch.
Oh yeah, I've watched
You've
the video.
Watched it. Yeah, you watched
I've watched
it.
the video.
Yeah,
I know what it does.
It's crazy. I think I would still. I don't know, because like the Elf was super easy to get ready, super easy to go out.
Yeah, that was
super
like
fun.
a mix between an ARF and a kit.
Yeah, and super fun. I loved flying it, and it really wasn't that hard to get out and fly.
No, that's the nice thing about the small planes is you can just put them in the trunk of your car
Yes,
and fly when you have them in it.
yeah, and that's what I think was the most. What's the word I'm looking for? The thing that I loved the most about the Elf is it was just really easy and really quick to get it out and fly it.
Yeah.
And I didn't need to worry about running into somebody.
Except for when you did.
But I didn't. But here's the thing is like, yes, I did. We all know. We saw it. Everybody's seen. Well, we all
We don't
talked
have
about
the
it.
footage.
No, we don't have the footage because we didn't have
your
it.
camera wasn't on.
Yeah, but we all heard us talk about me running into Derek's face with my Elf.
Yep. It hurt.
But are you blind?
No.
Did you die?
No.
Did you lose a finger?
No.
Okay. See?
I
Not
almost
that big of a
I
deal.
almost lost an eye. Yeah, no, I agree because I miss being able to fly my mini DLG
Yeah.
because
And-
it's just fun because you just pop it out and you start
and
whipping
you
it out
whip
and just
it out and
woohoo.
Yeah, and you like the batteries on those things last. You get tired of flying before the battery goes bad.
I'd go through 2 batteries before I'd be tired of flying.
Well, for me,
That's me.
Well, I always had kids with me, so I guess that's why I ended early.
Yeah.
Or I crashed it.
Yep.
Crashed it.
Yeah.
So.
That was Okay.
than once.
So you like small gliders?
Small gliders.
Okay. I would agree. Small gliders are nice, especially little DLG ones.
Yeah.
And there are tons of mini DLGs out there that you can get.
That
I
you
know
can
Hobby
get,
King has a couple.
yeah, at all levels of readiness. So the ready to fly, almost ready to fly, and plug and play
full-blown
style.
kits and
Yeah,
stuff.
they have, and want to build your own too. They have it all from every level. So, but
So my thoughts on that, because I've flown big gliders, little gliders, tiny planes, medium-sized planes.
these little guys and
I've
everything.
built planes, so I agree on the plug-and-play ARF ready-to-fly deal. Style of plane,
Now, what is your favorite or a good beginner?
For me, I would say like a high wing plane. So like a Cub.
Okay.
A Piper Cub is a high wing plane. My yellow plane above us is
Yeah.
a high wing plane.
Okay. So
The only planes that I have that aren't high wings is my EF-16 because that's a mid wing. That's a jet.
okay.
Everything else, well, I won't include the Chaos Wing because that's a wing, not a plane.
Yeah.
But everything else is a high wing. So where there's the fuselage and the wing sits on top of the fuselage.
Okay, that's the high wing.
The
Got it.
reason why those are nice is because it puts your center of gravity below the wings.
Okay.
And even with a flat wing with no dihedral, they are inherently stable.
Just because of the way they're
Just
built.
because of the way the weight sits on them.
Okay.
So, a high wing trainer, be it a Cub or something more like the yellow one that you can't see, just because it's a more stable platform. I would recommend a
What about size?
size that is the next thing.
Okay.
No matter who you talk to, bigger always flies better.
Okay. But the problem with bigger is you need more space.
Yes. So that is the weird balance. So like my the FT Mini Mustang that I had,
Yeah.
super tiny 20-something inch wingspan. I could rip that around anywhere.
Yeah.
And I did. It was great fun. Love that plane. It was a low wing plane, so it was much more acrobatic and nimble.
Yeah.
It was also a smaller plane, so not only was it more nimble in that factor, or in that respect, but it was also affected by the wind a lot more.
Okay.
Like the wind would pick up and you could feel it in the plane.
Yeah.
Now my Cub, it's a 30-ish inch wingspan,
Okay.
and it would still get hit by the wind, but it would take stronger wind to feel the same effects that I would.
And that does make sense
on the
because
Mustang.
the lift is directly affected by the length of the wing.
The more
and-
wing, the better the lift.
Yeah. And you need, if you have smaller wings, you need more thrust to get it moving, which means when you have wind,
Yeah.
that affects.
Well, and thankfully
more.
with the smaller plane and the smaller wings, like the lower weight, it balances out. Like you get a similar wing loading
Yeah.
over the smaller wings with the smaller plane. It all balances out. But like the big one that I have up here, it runs on a 40.4 cubic inch glow engine, has a 60-inch wingspan.
Yeah.
That bugger, my brother flew it in 15-mile-an-hour winds, like to where it, like he had to have it at half throttle just to keep it from blowing backwards on the runway. But he still got it up, and it flew surprisingly really well.
Yeah, but
So super heavy wind, but still a super stable
But you
plane in that wind.
can't just go anywhere to fly that.
No. So my recommendation is get the biggest that you can. Horizon Hobby makes a couple if you're looking at the ARF or Ready to Flies. They are the Timbers, the E-Flight Timber.
Okay.
It is a high wing stall type aircraft, short takeoff and landing.
Okay.
And they make a large one that's got a 60-something inch wingspan, and they make a smaller one that's got like a 45-inch wingspan.
Okay.
The range of like 36 to 48 inches on your wingspan is a really good, in my opinion, starter-sized airplane because you get the larger size that doesn't need a larger field. So it's still small enough. Like we could take a 48-inch wingspan plane over to our park here
Yeah.
and fly it just fine.
Yeah. My 2-meter Radeon,
It's pushing it.
I don't like to fly it there. I don't feel like it feels crowded.
Yeah.
One person gets into the park and I'm like, I got to bring it down.
Yeah. So, yeah, the 3 foot to 4 foot range, like maximum 1.5 meters, which I think is 50-something inches. I forget.
1.5 meters is.
It'll be right here on the screen.
36 plus half, which is
Almost 60 inches.
50 inches.
Yeah. So that 1.5 meters is the biggest I would go on a beginner-sized plane, just because you can still get good control and fit in a relatively regular-sized park or field. Like you could fly that on a football or soccer field just fine.
Yeah. And
So that's where I would look. Again, high wing trainer. don't go for a jet on your first plane. Those things are quick and nimble, and like
You can lose
speed.
it.
Speed is what keeps them in the air.
You can lose it quickly.
Yes, yes. So you want something that's gentle and forgiving.
I mean, I don't disagree with any of what you've said, except for I would, depending on where you live and what you have available to open space,
Yeah.
that's what I would really gauge, because when we start getting larger wingspan, you need a larger space.
Yeah, and if you're like my little brother that lives in Georgia, and finding an open field is hard because trees,
Yeah.
then you got to be a little more selective with your planes, and you may have to drive a ways or join a club
Yeah.
to have a big enough space to fly.
Yeah. And that's why I'm still leaning towards the smaller style. I think my Radeon is just a tad big to be able to just go out and fly. I have to plan to fly it.
Yeah, that thing takes some setup.
Yes, I have to plan to take it out and fly it because of the length of it, because of how big it is, and
Just
because
what it takes to get it up
just
in the air.
yeah, what it takes to get in the air, what it takes to make circles in that thing.
Yeah.
It's like a lumbering giant.
One thing I did notice from your videos, you only ever got like 50 feet up in the air.
Yeah, I didn't go all the way.
No,
I was terrified.
if you had gotten higher, you would have probably had a better time with it.
Oh, I had a great time with it.
I'm not saying you didn't. I'm saying
I
you would have had
just-
a better time.
I was terrified of running into people.
Yeah.
So,
Because you needed more elevation, because when you were on your downwind leg,
yeah.
and then you'd try and come around for your landing, you're too close to the ground.
Yeah. So,
I found that to be your biggest issue is elevation.
well, that's probably true. I'm very inexperienced, and I
Yeah.
was out trying to fly by myself.
So, but those are my recommendations to look for in a plane. Of course, go with whatever you want because it's your plane.
Yeah.
But like
And-
anyone you talk to, they're going to give you similar feedback to this.
Yeah. I think this is probably correct on anybody, unless they're specifically trying to sell you the plane that they have in front of you.
Then they're the wrong person to be talking to.
Yeah. But if you get out, go to some clubs or go out to where they're flying and just talk to some of the flyers, or maybe not while they're flying, but
It depends on the person.
yeah, and see what they say. First, they'll be willing. They'll want to talk your ear off and get you into the hobby, because
I've yet to meet someone that won't talk to me about their planes.
yeah, they all are. They have very interesting stories, and they're all very interested in the hobby. So
Yeah.
if you want to learn more, go where you see the planes fly.
Yep.
Unfortunately, there are areas where there's less, so you might have to look for online stuff. But like Derek said, I think what we've said today, I think will be very similar to what most people will tell you. Again, area will affect it slightly, because bigger planes need bigger areas. Smaller planes are affected by the wind more, like different things like that.
Now, that's not to say small planes aren't fun. There's a whole class of flying called half-A flying, where it's tiny little airplanes like this Cub on the wall behind me. And they put on motors, and those things go ripping around, and those guys, there's a whole national event around them that just ended, the small. I forget what it stands for.
I love flying the smaller planes.
They're fun, but they are a whole different monster.
It's completely different, but that's the point, is that what kind of flyer do you think you're going to be? What spaces do you have available? What is your budget?
Oh, yeah, budget's huge.
Because once you start getting into some of the bigger planes, depending on what they're made out of, and
Or if you make them yourself.
if they're kit,
plug and play.
ARF, or ready to fly,
Yeah.
that changes the price.
Yeah, because kits are going to be your cheapest,
Yes.
but then you to buy the package, but then you have to add everything to it.
Yeah.
Next comes ARFs, but you still have to add the electronics, and that's the expensive part.
Yep.
Next is
Plug
plug
and
and plays, which are
You have to add some electronics.
add less,
Yeah,
and then ready to fly are going to be the most expensive.
because they're ready to fly.
Yeah, they have everything.
Yeah, and so that is definitely part that needs to be considered. But I think I don't know. I think we talked this through well, is what I think, honestly. So let us know if you're a long-term flyer, what your first plane was.
Ooh, yeah, let's hear
What was your
stories.
first flyer that you had? If you're a land or sea RC pilot, let us know what your first craft was.
Yeah.
And because like my very first one was a dune buggy that was, like the Tyco Special type of thing.
Whereas my first real one was a Nitro HPI Savage.
Mine was actually a Radio Shack Special, so it was barely real, but it was ready to go. Right?
Radio Shack.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's where my first one came from.
So, but let us know, and then let us know what you're currently flying or driving.
Yeah.
Or piloting, because you
whatever.
pilot a boat, right?
Captaining? Is that the word?
Is that the word? I don't know.
Help us.
Yeah, let us know.
I have boats on my wish list. I need to know the right terms.
I actually want to get a submarine. I don't know where I would do it, but
I don't know where we do it either, but I have one on my list.
oh, is it okay?
It's a German U-boat Class 7.
Oh, is it? Did you show me this, or did I look it up?
I showed it to you.
Okay, because I think I want that one too.
The full kit is $1,700.
Yes, you did. It's along like that tank. The tanks. Oh my gosh, the tanks. We talked briefly about the tanks.
It's a 60-something inch U-boat.
Yeah, where are you gonna? You could take that to Utah Lake. You'd lose it.
No, it'd be gross.
We don't have any good lakes here.
You'd have to take it to a mountain lake.
Actually, you could go up
Like
to one of the
Mirror Lake.
reservoirs. You could go up one of the reservoirs.
They're pretty brown.
It depends on the time of year.
Yeah, you'd have to catch a knot in the snow runoff in the spring.
Yeah. So anyway, we have
need
lots
friends
of
with swimming
yeah, big swimming pools. We have a lot of mountain reservoirs not far from us. Within an hour, there's like 8, hour and a half.
Well, how else are we supposed to get our drinking water in this desert?
Right. Anyway, do you have any other discussions?
No, I don't think so.
Check out our swag too.
Oh yeah, we have a threadless shop.
Yes.
So
Threadless.
we'll put a link here and we'll put the thing here and a link in the description.
Yes.
We've got shirts and hoodies and stickers and cups and mugs and bags.
Yeah.
So go hit that up. Any purchase there goes directly, like we put it right back into the show.
Getting the show and getting stuff for us to talk about.
Yeah, to improve this whole mess.
Yes.
Don't forget to hit up our sponsor, rcbattery.com, with that discount code RCLawn #2020 through the December 31st.
You should do it right here.
There you go.
Yep. And again. Right
but yeah, get your, I think it's 15% off.
We believe.
Single use.
Yep.
So make it a good,
does not include shipping.
Does not include shipping, but I have loved the batteries we have gotten from them so far. They have been awesome.
And the battery charger that I've had has performed very awesome. Like I have just been running batteries on it because I haven't been flying. So I just put a battery in there and I take it to storage. And then I charge it. And then I do these.
Are you keeping track of how many cycles you're running on these batteries? Okay. So you're just going to cycle these batteries until they explode?
No, I hope not.
Well, if you work them to fail point, we can see how well they last.
I mean, but I am trying to work them.
That's good.
Like that's what because I haven't been flying, so I've been trying to actually, test them and get them.
That's good.
So I've been impressed with both the batteries. They don't get hot.
No, I haven't felt any heat on any of the ones that I've only run 2 of them so far, but I haven't noticed
even
any
the
heat.
work that I've been doing on with the charger and stuff. It doesn't get hot.
Well, charging and discharging is going to be a very low current draw.
The charger actually has it so you can draw it faster.
Oh yeah.
So it has the different settings.
But you're still not going to draw it at max.
Yeah, but wait till I get the car out. This will be a good test. Plus, we'll see how long the batteries last.
There you go.
I am going to set it up.
Put a timer on your transmitter?
Well, I have a timer already on my transmitter, but I'm going to see if I can get one of the bigger ones to mount in there and use it my
one of the big batteries.
yeah, I might have to. I might have to get a different speed controller. We'll see.
Can your speed controller handle 3S?
I can't remember. I have to look it up again because I can't remember because I bought it so long ago. Anyway,
I think that is everything.
I think we covered it all.
Send us your stories. We'd love to hear. Oh, so you guys know, with the holiday season and with my wife giving birth, we will be taking a smallish break. This will be our last episode. We release in November, and then we won't release again till December 14th.
Yep.
We'll give you guys an update over that bit of the holidays. And then we will get back to our regular bi-weekly programming on January 11th.
Yep.
So we'll remind you of the discount code at rcbattery.com.
November 14th. November 17th.
November 14th. You had it right. January 11th.
There's December 14th.
Oh.
November 17th.
He is right.
December 14th, January 11th. See those dates right there.
Yep.
Put those right there.
You're really making me work.
I am.
So that's okay. They'll be over your face.
That's fine.
So that'll be our schedule for the holiday season. Enjoy time with your family. We're going to do that enjoy it with ours.
Yep.
We'll be sure to keep you updated. So follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Yep. All the places I will be posting.
Yeah, I'll make sure Steven posts updates on his projects. I'll be posting updates on mine. I've got some cool things in the works for my boys for Christmas, so you guys will get to see all that.
That'll be cool.
Like I'm more excited than they will be when they find out. It's going to be so awesome. So be sure to follow us. Be patient with us for this holiday season. We appreciate it, and we will see you guys in the next one. And remember, when flying inverted, up is down.
When what?
When flying inverted, up is down and down is expensive. RPM is how hard you hit the ground, and torque is how far you have to dig to get it out.
Yep.
See you guys in December.